Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Bullet Club. This is the World Wrestling Podcast with your host, the Big Cali Kid, Sean B, and the Big Bad Boo Bear, Nick Solomon.
Yeah. Welcome to the World Wrestling Podcast. That's right. You are hearing that correctly. Welcome to the World Wrestling Podcast. And God damn, it feels good to be back, Jack. I am your host, the Big Cali Kid. Well, now known as the Big Arizona Kid, Sean B. And we'll just jump right into it. Normally this is where you would hear my co-host, the Big Bad Boo Bear, Nick Walla Man. But unfortunately, Nick Solomon has hung up his boots and for the foreseeable future, will no longer be broadcasting with the World Wrestling Podcast. He is one of the four horsemen of the World Wrestling Podcast. He will always have a place here, so whenever he gets his shit together and is ready to make his triumphant return, he will have a spot and will always have a spot here at the World Wrestling Podcast. But like I said, it is damn good to be back, and tonight I have a special replay for you guys. If you haven't got a chance to check out my boy, you've heard him right here on the World Wrestling Podcast, Dino, don't call me Shane O'Mac from the Mac Attack Show. He's actually started a wrestling podcast himself right here on Spreaker. I believe he's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you can find a wrestling podcast out there. Just like he showed me love on his show last night. Definitely got to show him love right here on the World Wrestling Podcast. He invited me over for episode 7 of the Smart MarX podcast last night. And that is what I'm going to be replaying for you guys here tonight. So if you haven't got a chance to check him out, after you're done listening to the show, hit that search button, type in the Mac Attack, pull up the Mac Attack Show, give him a like, give him a listen. He has a lot of good shit over there. The Smart MarX podcast is one of my favorite wrestling podcasts to listen to. And I think all of our listeners will enjoy it as well. So without further ado, here it is, the replay of last night's Smart MarX podcast featuring none other than me, the Big Cali, Arizona Kid, whatever you want to call me, Sean B.
Attention. The following wrestling podcast may contain explicit language and may not be suitable for young listeners. Also, this podcast is in association with the Mac Attack Show. Enjoy.
No, that's good stuff.
Jeez,
The manager's root beer.
ladies and gentlemen, weighing at a total of 500 pounds, McDonald's Happy Meal. and then
including with a toy.
And here they come, Whopper Jr. Whopper Jr.'s in the house. Oh, he coming off the top rope. Oh, my God, he killed him. Guys, thanks for tuning in to the MarX Show. And welcome to Smart MarX. And we are live and we are in living color, episode number 7. And I have got a special guest on here today that I'm really excited. All the way from the World Wrestling Podcast right here on Spreaker.com and also iHeartRadio and Spotify and every other place that you can listen to wrestling podcasts across the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Big Cali Kid, Sean B. What's going on, man?
What it do?
And as always, what's up?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's good to be back.
Oh, man, I tell you what it is. And just real quickly, we got my co-host on here, and he's back, ready to go, Mr. Heavy D. What's going on?
Ladies.
Hitting him with the Valvinus. Oh, ladies.
Last week was Razor Ramon, so I had to hit him with the Valvinus.
Daryl Hilton, the super fan, is on here. He's got his beer, and he said, "Let's get ready to rumble." So
nice.
He's listening. Share with a friend. Share with 15 of them. I don't care. Do whatever. We're going to talk a little bit of pro wrestling.
With grandma.
So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and kick off one of the topics that I was going to talk about. We've discussed it a little bit. By the way, Sean B., thanks for showing up and thanks for being on Smart MarX, man. A little bit different tune than Dino Max Wrestling Chat. A little bit different tune of just the MarX show in general. Now we're getting a little bit more serious about wrestling podcasting. So how have you been? First of all, more importantly, how have you been and how's your podcast going?
I've been good, man. Freaking, I don't know if they can call me the Big Cali Kid anymore. I'm no longer in California. I'm up in the beautiful White Mountains of Arizona.
The White Mountains of Arizona.
Now you're the Big Arizona Kid.
Yeah, there you go.
So, the World Wrestling Podcast has been on a bit of a hiatus, about 5, almost 6 months now. My co-host, Nick Solomon, big shout-outs to him. He was having some health issues and whatnot.
Oh, man.
He had a crazy schedule. I was moving, still trying to get settled in up here and whatnot. So I'm on the cusp of the return of the World Wrestling Podcast, so definitely stay posted. Hopefully here within the next month or so, World Wrestling Podcast will be back.
Nice.
Good deal. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Right on. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Heavy D, how you been? How you been in a world of wrestling?
I've been doing good in the world of wrestling, but I'm just going to address another podcast for one split second here.
Go ahead.
Motherfucker calling me out 3 times on Guy Talk. Saying and I counted them, dude. You fucker. So, no, I've been doing pretty good. Not pussy whooped. But, no, I'm doing all right, man. Things are going good for me.
Good deal. Let's start talking wrestling, guys. Recently I joined a wrestling group chat or a group on Facebook, and they came up with a pretty good concept, and they got a lot of great topics that they discussed. And one of these topics that I want to talk about is: do you think Sable deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Sean B., I'm going to let you, since you're back and you're new, I'm going to let you take a crack at this. Should Sable be in there or not, dude?
I'm on the fence on this, honestly. Yes and no. Sable, she had roles as managers. She had a pretty short-lived wrestling career. Back in the day, people knew who Sable was. Not just as Brock Lesnar's wife now, but do I think she deserves a Hall of Fame? No, honestly. If I had to gun to my head right now, yes or no, the answer would be no. really didn't make that big of an impact in the wrestling world to deserve a Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you're going to I would say give Tajiri a Hall of Fame before Sable.
Okay. I like that. I don't know. I think she should. I think she had a really good impact on the wrestling business. I mean, she was the first chick to kind of, flaunt this is my opinion. I think she was one of the pioneers of letting the Diva Nation start in the sense of, at first, back in, the early wrestling years, women wasn't allowed to do a whole lot. And then they started getting some momentum a little bit, and it was about wrestling. But during the Attitude Era, it was about skin. It took skin to win, and I think she was a pioneer in that little category right there. She bared it all. Like, she made it. She stepped up. She raised the bar. Heavy D, real quickly, give me your opinion on this before I go into any further about this.
She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to give one reason: Playboy. If she wouldn't have done Playboy, WWE wouldn't have got as much attention to him as they would have in the Attitude Era. Honestly, when she got into Playboy, everybody talked about it. And now, isn't that part of the industry? Getting the word out there, getting everybody noticed. So I think she did her due diligence on contribution. She couldn't do in-ring ability. The short career she did have, it was shit. And but she was able to flaunt her stuff, and she was able to show the skin that was neat, and skin did win. And they had some good assets, and she was one of the first ones of that.
She had some good assets, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah, I think honestly, I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I'll be shocked if it's like this year or next. But I think she's deserving of it. I really do.
And I get where you're coming from, Dean, when you're saying she kind of pioneered that sex aspect of the Attitude Era. She went from women mostly being arm candy managers to what we saw in the Attitude Era. So you may have swayed my vote there with that, because it's definitely a valid point.
Yeah.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, she did change the scope of what a manager was. I mean, yeah, like you said, before they were just arm candy, and then she turned it into something more. Like, took the eyes off of everybody onto her.
Besides Playboy, when do you think that she really made her mark in the industry? I mean, I'm going to say when she was with Mark Merrow. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But
I can agree.
But you guys got any different opinions, like when she actually made her mark?
I think it really started once Mark Merrow left, because then she took his music, and then she just blew up from there. Once she stopped being his manager, things just jettisoned for her, it seemed like.
Sean B, you got anything on that?
Nah, he pretty much said it right there.
That's good. That's good. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Dude, like I said, that's how I feel about it. She made the mark about the sexiness. She brought the skin to win. She was the pioneer in really getting just the diva era beginning. She started the diva era, and then we all looked at these arm candy chicks as not only hot, but we also started looking at them as competitors. And so now we've got, these women that was coming up, like Trish Stratus, Lita, after Sable was the pioneer.
Love me some Trish.
Yeah, and then we saw athletes like Trish Stratus, where she combined the sexiness and the skin to win.
Because she started off the same way. She was TNA's little roadie right there, and then all of a sudden she got in the ring and started kicking ass, winning titles.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of that factor, and a lot of people think